y'all, what's up? It's your boy D. Welcome back to my channel. So right now, well, today is Testimony Sundays, and today I'm going to be talking about Life Church and how God has blessed me so much to be able to sing in front of people every single Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday. Get paid for it. But it's all just to glorify His name. And so to start at the beginning, I'm 22 years old right now. I always used to sing. I remember literally sitting in the car one day, and my mom and them, my aunt, we were driving to somewhere, probably to the mall. But, excuse me. I'm dead. Okay. We back. Sorry, I had some French toast this morning. It's crazy. But no, I remember sitting in the car with my mom and my aunt, and we were driving somewhere, and they had this gospel music on the radio, and the song was, I think, I'm chasing after you, no matter what I have to do, blah, blah, blah. But if you know that song, you know that song. But I just remember busting out and just started singing, and I remember they both turned their heads, and they were like, Darius, when did you learn how to sing? And I just remember just being, from that day on is when I just kept singing over and over again, and I never stopped since then. And it's honestly like this radio, like I've learned that it's like this radio that's in my head that never goes off. And what's funny is every time I'm going through something, God has always placed, it seems like God and His Spirit has always placed these songs, like certain church songs that I've learned throughout the years. He places certain ones for certain situations in my heart and in my head every single time I'm going through something. So that is a blessing already. But I've sang since I was little. I've sung in choirs, everything like that. And the thing that I love the most is to sing in church. It's what I've always loved since I was little. I remember being so little, and it's so particular. I remember being so little that I was singing in this choir at my dad's church. Sorry, the light. I remember singing in this choir at my dad's church, and I was singing so hard that my veins were coming out. And I remember my mama talking about it after service. But no, I'll say that to say that my freshman year, I came to college, and I was trying to find a church home. And I ended up finding this Methodist church that I used to go to, and I started off as a choir intern, and then I eventually moved up into being the choir director, actually, and directing the traditional service and then a contemporary service every Sunday. And it was crazy. It was like a leadership position that God placed me in that I didn't think I was ready for, but God said, this is what you're going to do, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to step into, and so I did it. And it was a blessing. It was good for a while, but then certain things started to happen, and I just ended up leaving that church. And that was for the good, because a year later, I'm now sitting here singing at one of the mega churches called Life Church, and it's run by an old Lambda Chi, which is in my fraternity, and his name is Craig Rochelle. And what's so crazy is the reason why I wanted to do this testimony and why God is so good, and He will always be good. And I just feel like He has so much favor over my life. And I'm just sitting here so thankful because church was so good today. But freshman year, I walked into the church with my big in the fraternity. And it's this church in Edmond, Life Church. And sitting there, every single time I went to the church, I cried during the sermons. It seemed like every single time I went, like throughout my freshman year, that there was something in particular at each service that I went to that was like just for me, that God placed just for me, like on Craig Rochelle's heart. But I mean, that God placed just for me so that I can be there and I can hear it. And so I just felt like God placed me with my big and at that church specifically so that I can hear those specific sermons and get that message. And I don't know, this is something that stuck with me. And I remember watching the worship set all the time. Watching the worship set. And it was the most great, like it was the best thing ever. Like I remember being up there and I was like, dang, that is something that I want to do. And it's something that I've always done since I was little. And I just crave it. It's like this craving that I have to sing in church, to sing and glorify God's name forever and always. But I just love being able to use my gift to give back to His people in the most perfect place. And when I'm in church, I feel like I can sing whatever I want to. My voice soars and does all these things that sometimes when I'm just sitting by myself and I'm trying to do it, it won't do unless I'm in the Spirit and unless I'm just singing just for God. But I remember being at that church, back to the story, I remember being at that church and I was like, I want to sing up there one day. And I remember meeting with people multiple times, trying to get an application or whatever. But years later, senior year now, I went to the Methodist church, found different church homes, blah, 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 blah. But here I am, the senior year, and going into my second semester, and God, so crazy. So I used to ride in these Ubers all the time when I was in high school, because sometimes I walked home and my mom would like had to work, blah 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 blah. But when I used to ride in Ubers to work or to school, God randomly placed these people that I like, just randomly placed these people in my life. And every single time I got in an Uber, like no joke, every single one of them talked about my career, how I need to focus, how I need to keep my eyes maintained on God and keep him first, and that they believe that I'm going to be successful. And it was just so many people, boom, 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 boom. Every single time that I got in an Uber. And one time it was crazy because it was like in a row for a couple of 2 to 3 months. And so I say that to say this, because I got in an Uber going to Walmart, because I was still Ubering before God blessed me with literally this car that I'm sitting in right now. But I was in the Uber trying to go get my groceries. And this guy, I remember him just looking at me through the rearview mirror. And he just kept staring at me. And I was like, why is this man staring at me? It was weird. He was an older dude. But he was on the phone with his son. And so when I was listening to him talk to his son, I was like, oh, okay. This guy seems like he's a pretty good dude. He has like a good heart. He's genuine. He also was talking about God and the Bible. And his son was talking about something, but I just remember him starting to minister to his son and talk about how God is good and he's working in their life, and he prayed over him and everything. And I'm just sitting in the car listening. And so I like end up just like dropping this wall that I had up initially, like when you get in the car with somebody you don't know. But he just started to talk to me. And what's so crazy is that we started talking to each other, learning about each other's lives. He did the Navy, his training in Grand Prairie, Texas, where I grew up. And he also helped Craig Rochelle, the person that I'm literally at his mega church, one of his mega churches. He helped Craig Rochelle get into ministry and kept pushing him into the ministry and wanted to see him succeed. And what's so crazy that it's just this little circle. And the man even said himself that God never brings people in his life for no reason, ever. And that he feels like every single person that God has brought into his life is special. And he looked at me and he was like, I believe you're one of those people. And he said that he doesn't do it for everybody else, but that he does it for some people, and he just feels it in his heart. And so I was sitting in that car like, you know what, God, you is so crazy, because I had just been praying about wanting to sing at church and needing a job. And then here this man goes. But we ended up talking, and I was like, yeah, I like sing at one of his churches, or what. I mean, no, I don't sing it, but I wasn't singing at one of his churches yet. But I was like, yeah, I love to sing. I'm an actor. I go to OCU, blah, 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 blah. And then we all connected the dots. And then from there, we basically just hit it off. So we opened up to each other, talked about life. And he literally looked at me. Well, I mentioned that I sang, because at first I didn't mention it. And then all of a sudden he was like, oh, really? And we were so acquainted with each other by this time that he was like, okay. And he was like, just say the word. And I was like, what do you mean just say the word? Because at first in my head, I was like, should I tell him that like I sing and stuff as well? Because I really want to sing at Life Church. And it was like literally brewing in my heart and mind. And then I said it, and he was like, bet. And so he brought me back to my house. He like called me handsome and everything and told me to leave the ladies alone and wait till after college. But I got his email. He got my email. He got my number. He even sent me like a care package after a week or two. And it was like so nice. So I ended up getting acquainted with Life Church. I like got a call from somebody on the phone, got the emails, did the process online. And then here I was doing a video audition. One day I was just in the Uber, not having a job at anything. And then the next day or a week later, here I was doing a video audition and maybe about to have a job that I've dreamed of since my freshman year. And so I did the video audition. They were like, okay, bet. And so then I met with somebody, and the conversation was good. I was like, okay, if this is what all people in a Life Church are like, then this is a place that I want to be. And so I ended up going to my first rehearsal, and I was like, oh yeah. Like, oh yeah, this is so good. And it was amazing. Like, I was so happy. And I say that to say that, like, I'm gonna just fast forward because I don't know how long I've been recording. But now it's just a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise. Like, God removed me from a church that I wasn't like having too many good. I went from like not having a job to literally having a job at a place that I've dreamed of since freshman year. And that just goes to show just how good God is. Like, he places you in different places, in different situations, just so he can mold you into this person and then place you where you're supposed to be. And so I just say that to say that God is good, and he's good all the time. Even through everything that I went through, he's good, and he's brought me to this place right now. And so now when I stand on stage and I sing, I'm so blessed, and I'm always so thankful just to be standing up there and doing what I do every single Sunday and every single week. And to have the feedback being like that people love me, they love how I worship, they love how I sing. It's just been amazing. And I get so into the spirit and so moved that I'm like crying on stage trying to sing, because I don't know, I'm just so grateful. Every single time I'm like into the worship set, but I'm also just looking and being like, this is what I asked God for. Like a prayer has been answered. And that's why I wanted to make this testimony video, because God is so good. All you got to do is pray, believe, and have faith. That's what I'm learning. That's what I'm learning. This is what I feel like I'm growing into this man that God has destined me to be. I love to be able to sing and worship and glorify his name. And to do what I'm doing, I don't know, I feel like I have a bigger responsibility just to do more. And so that's why that's why I want to do these testimony videos. I just want to tell y'all about the goodness of God, because he is good. Like, yes, I had my struggles and everything, but God's goodness still reigns. It still succeeds everything. Today's service was so good. It was just so good. That's why I really had to make this video, because it was so good. Like seeing people out there love God as much as I do, being so vocal, like yelling, saying, yes, Lord, thank you so much. Like just anything. It's stuff that I sit here and do in my home. And I just love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. If God fulfills me, the church fulfills me. We are the church. We are love. We are hope. And I will continue to be that. And I'm just so blessed that God put me in this position. And that's why I won't mess it up at all. I've messed up so many stuff in my life that I'm not messing up this one. Ooh, I gotta sneeze. Oh, but just know that God is so good. He's blessed me beyond measure. Blessed me beyond what I could even ask for. And answered my prayers and gave me exactly what I wanted, but more. Even more. I'm so blessed to sing with people that are amazing. The people are amazing. The people are good. They actually love and cherish me. Everything is just good. And it's just like I went through a whole different situation with another church and different things, and things weren't bad. But it just goes to show that it's time. Certain things are for a season. And when the time is up, God is going to move you. And yes, it might have looked like that it was a bad time after I left that church, but now that I'm sitting here, I believe that it was for a greater purpose. And I'm oh so grateful. Oh, God is good. God is good. God is good. God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. So never forget that. But yeah, y'all. I mean, literally, I can go ahead and make another testimony about this car that I'm sitting in. So that might be the one that I'll do next. Because, you know what? God just been blessing me. God has just been blessing me. Even through this pandemic, God has been blessing me. So here's just me. I'm about to get out this car because it's getting hot, and I got this sweater on. Oh, but you call it luck, I call it blessed. That's literally what I'm blessed. Blessed. But yeah, I'm about to get out this car. It's hot. I just wanted to come on here and tell y'all about how good God is and share my little testimony with y'all. Because if he can do it for me, and if he can do it for so many other people, he can also do it for you. He can also do it for you. So I love you. Hope you have a blessed Sunday, and I'll catch y'all next time. All right?